some information, or you could have done some more research. Any questions about how to, one key to this lab experiment is one, to emphasize the idea of the scientific method. So this is Introduction A, Scientific Investigation. We're going to learn about the scientific method, okay? And the way you write up your lab report is based on the scientific method, okay? And so I'm done. Who's it? Doesn't have this? Is it something back here? Okay. So, any questions on that?
Will this lab report be due for next week?
Yes, it will. Okay. Now, let me get my notes and see if I'm missing stuff before we really get going. So if you see, I like that handout better than what was up here in the board, but hopefully you see the same thing. You have your name and the date. Be sure to do that, your name and the date, and put the class, biology, because I have more of the material than just one set. The experiment number, what it was in your lab manual. It has, experiments that you do. So this one, and then they have safety procedures. This is, looks like a 0. Is that what that says? But at the front, it's got an index, 0. 1 is a microbe structure and care we'll do next week. But this week we're doing lab 0. So you could list it and you could say what it is. Lab 0, scientific investigation. I think that's what it said. It's an introductory lab. What was the purpose? One of the purposes is to understand how to write up lab reports, how to do it in such a way that you use the scientific method in your lab. That's one purpose of it. Methods and materials, you're gonna, we have just paper here, there's a whole lot, you have some scissors, etc. And you will have a table, we'll have some data. Let's see the page that's on. By the way, you can just tear out this sheet from your lab manual and use that and cut it up. You have questions to answer on page E, but if you turn in your book to pages F and G, you see that we won't be doing the lab. Don't try to do all the lab right up, fill up all the tables now. You're probably going to redo it and make it neater for it to be turned in. So like question number 4, here's some of the data. Trial, time for the fall, speed, okay? And then the average. But over here it says, describe your success at changing the vertical speed. Can you both increase and decrease the vertical speed? So if you want to make it go faster, what would you do? Make it go slower, what would you do? Okay? Now, one last thing is, you have an equation. Velocity equals distance divided by time. Now, you should get that in centimeters per second. You're going to use centimeters in that. So I wouldn't hold it more than 100 centimeters above the ground. You know what that meters fit? It's about 1 centimeter, about right here. And you want to get it started, and then somebody, when it starts to fall, click, click. You do more than one trial because you may want to toss it out because you didn't time it right. That's okay. In real life, you do labs, you messed up somewhere, you just throw it out, do it again. So if, let's say, it's going to fall 100 centimeters, right? Let's say it takes 2 seconds to do that. That will be 50 centimeters per second. If it takes 1.5, you just divide it out with a little calculator. You guys, most of you have it on your cell phone or some device. And that's all there is to it. So what you should have, you should have more columns of what they have here. You should have distance, time, and then speed. I would throw another column for distance. The distance is the same in each case. It's going to be probably the 100 centimeters it's going to fall. So so right now you'll be able to put down, in your one column, you put down 100 and it'll be the same for all of them. you're gonna have 2 point, let's say it came up to exactly 2 seconds. And then the velocity over here, and this is the time, and this is the distance. Velocity equals distance divided by time. And over here you'll have 50 centimeters per second. That's all you need in that. And the first column over here, you can have trial 1, trial 2, trial 3, and you can average them. So that's what we're going to be doing in the lab today. So are there any questions on that, guys? Okay. So let's see. So you wanted to do the lab report and look at pages A through I in your book, and we've already done that. And you do your lab report based on this, okay? So, you know, any questions? There isn't that much to it. And we'll be doing this with, this is 1, and then you may do it again with, let's say this is 0 paper clips, and this is 1 paper clip, and you may do 3 trials and measure, and then you 2 and measure. And when what you're going to do is, when you're done, you're going to have an average velocity over here for no paper clips. You're going to have an average velocity when you do this 3 times, for 1 paper clip, for 2, for 3. So when you're done, you'll have average velocity for no paper clips, 1, 2, and 3. We will see what effect it made. Remember, they just tend to fall. They don't always want to whirl you very well. So you might want to kind of spin it to get it started. And that's it. So why don't you guys, let's see, we need scissors. Biology stuff is over here. If they all have scissors in there, I believe they do. Not that I can borrow them. We're going to have to borrow them because we have